Your metabolism isn't broken, but you've bailed on your plan the exact same week it would have started working. Maybe it's been 10 or even 14 days and your weight has not changed. Now you've decided your current fat loss plan isn't working. And after seeing this exact pattern in over 300 men, I can tell you, you are pulling the plug far too early. First, let's talk about a broken metabolism, because there's no such thing as a broken metabolism. Fitness influencers usually copying someone who looks and sounds clever, or they're just lying for views. This is coming from someone that spent over £15,000 on content mentors that literally tell you to build content around contrarian viewpoints like this. And when you hear influencers talking about a broken metabolism, they're trying to create a complex problem out of a simple one. That way they can sell you a system or a complex solution. They're also giving you something you may not have heard before, or at least in that way. And when you feel like your current diet isn't working, you're all ears. But what's really happening is you lose weight. Yes, your energy expenditure does drop. You burn less calories. And it is more than your new body weight alone would predict. And usually that number can land somewhere around 10 to 15% below what your weight predicts, or in real terms, roughly 30 calories a day for every 2 pounds or so you lose. We are lucky enough to have different labs and different methods which keep arriving at the same answer. Let's say if you drop 22 pounds, 10 kilos, then you'll be expecting somewhere like around 300 fewer calories burnt a day over someone who started at that same weight as you, the weight you're at now, without dieting. Yes, that does happen. And starvation mode is not a thing, nor is the term metabolic damage. It doesn't show up anywhere in the research, nor does it in practice. But of course, it shows up on social media. Think about it this way. If I made content around metabolic damage and broken metabolisms, I would have 10 times the views, for sure. But I'm not a charlatan and I can't stand here and lie to you. Also, people conveniently leave out the fact that it isn't your resting metabolism that's collapsing. The primary lever is you moving less without noticing. Think where you sit through a phone call. Maybe you'd fidget or you'd pace. That's true NEAT. And of course, plans do store harder than 30 calories would account for. And losing weight doesn't just lower what you burn, but instead, it massively increases what you want to eat. And this is also a big part, the less movement and the hunger. And there's a study that tracked this, and it found that appetite creeped up by roughly 100 calories a day for each 2.2 pounds you lost. And that's more than 3 times the size of the metabolic drop. Yet not many people talk about it. So when a plan actually stalls, we'll get into that shortly, the slower metabolism is a smaller part of the story. The bigger half is the fact that you're way hungrier than when you started. And that will have you chipping away your deficit, while influencers will have you blaming your metabolism for it. And just quickly, if you want your actual calorie target and how long it will take you to hit your goal, use my free fat loss calculator below. So if it's not your metabolism, why does it feel exactly like that? Like you're doing everything right and still getting nowhere. In my opinion, and the research I've done, points to the fact that it can't just be something that's explained by physiology. But that's something I see with almost 100% of the men and women I've ever worked with or even spoken to. And it was also me once upon a time for many years. Let's say you start something new or you decide it's time to dial things in. The scale moves a bit, and by Friday you're feeling good about things. This must be it, right? But then Monday comes around and it's straight back to your starting weight. Of course, fitness influencers have you blame your metabolism, insulin, discipline, and willpower. But the reality is, I bet it's none of those. And by you buying into any one of those labels, you trap yourself in a cycle, and you could continue to yo-yo diet for years. I've seen that happen so many times. I'm not telling you I know everything, but what I will say is, I've seen this pattern 1,000 times in food diaries, and I've broke this pattern for clients hundreds of times. It's what I like to call, well, I just made this up, the fake consistency loop. You build momentum, you see a good amount of weight loss, and Friday you hit what seems to be a new low. This feels like a breakthrough. Then you start to loosen up. The weekend involves a lot more socializing, a lot more unpredictable plans. So you're making healthier choices most of the time, but with more flexibility built in. And then Monday comes around, and again, you're back to where you started. And you're clearly working hard all week, I'm not denying that, but you're still back at square one. No wonder you start thinking something's broken. Not your approach, but you. You just assume it has to be something like your metabolism, because what else would explain it? And the data we have on people trying to lose weight shows that logging does drop off from Thursday onwards. Then you're not necessarily losing control on a Saturday night, but it's momentum in the other direction. Thursday, you may have gotten away with being more flexible, or maybe you were still on plan. But by Friday night, you're no longer keeping track of things. Then there's the structure that your week gives you, which is gone on the weekends. You know, your work hours, your meetings, your commute, maybe even your wake up time changes. And it naturally forces your meals into set times, even if you don't plan it, because you have to eat within specific windows. And maybe you don't even have much time to eat a lot. But then the weekend strips that away completely, and eating spreads out over a longer, looser stretch of the day. And while influencers have you convinced that this is your lack of discipline, it's what happens when the scaffolding holding your meal structure together disappears. And there's another scenario where your week runs on strict food rules like long fasts and just eating far too little. I've seen this more times than I can count, and it's the pattern that shows up consistently in the coaching data. The tighter the rules Monday to Friday, the harder the swing Friday to Sunday, because at some point, letting loose stops being a choice and starts being a release valve for the week of restriction and just feeling tired in general. And honestly, I don't blame you. So to fix this, there are so many possible solutions. But here are 3 I think you should try in order of the most effective. First, you want to keep some sort of visibility over the weekend. I would go as far as to say log everything, even if you use AI to guess things when you're out, like at restaurants. You can, of course, save more calories for dinner by eating lighter meals at breakfast and lunch, but you can see there's still structure there. So even just a rough log, even just stepping on the scale Saturday and Sunday, that will help you stay on track instead of just switching off like Friday and Saturday. Now the second one is have 2 anchor points that are fixed. A set breakfast time with a few options that are high in protein, high in fiber. Meals you know that actually fill you. And then you want to go one up. Well, you can go one up, which I recommend. A few lunch options, even if they're on the go. And the third thing is, I want you to loosen up just a little bit during the week. That doesn't mean just have a cookie every single day or even have a cookie period. But you want to build the space for the food you actually want on a normal Tuesday. Just think about it. If something comes up, you have to go out to eat, make room for it. And don't try to earn it back with extra restriction. Just eat normally at the next meal. This will fix your fake consistency loop. But even then, it's still fairly easy to get sidetracked, especially with the internet. So you want to make sure you're armed with even more tools. And I want to talk you through some things, some tools that many of my clients and me use to avoid distraction. And as we call it, shiny object syndrome, constantly searching for the new best thing or new plan. So you can see a really fast drop in the scale initially and get disheartened when that slows down. But that first drop, that fast drop in weeks 1, 2, even 3 was not all fat. When you cut carbs, which you do naturally when you cut calories, your body burns through your stored carbs, your glycogen, quickly. Then this drags out, so the glycogen, about 3 grams of water along with every gram of glycogen. When you empty or significantly reduce those stores, the scale can drop by several pounds in days, even overnight, which is not fat loss. But you see a fast number early and you start expecting that pace to continue. And then week 3 or 4 or week 4 or 5, whatever, shows up at the real rate and it's boring and it feels like failure by comparison. So don't second guess this and feel like you need something to speed it up. Now, any single weigh-in in isolation can be the least reliable number you've got. You've got sodium, hydration, what you ate the day before sitting around your gut, in and around your gut. And all of it moves the number by at least a pound or 2, sometimes several pounds, and sometimes significantly more. But remember, it's not fat. Then you see a flat scale over 3 to 4 days, and that doesn't tell you much. But a flat trend line over 3 to 4, even 2 to 4 weeks gives you data you can actually work with. It's contextual, but you can work with that. And this is the habit most people skip, and it's extremely underrated for how simple it is. Weigh in daily if you can. Ignore each individual number and watch where the average sits over the course of a week and week to week. If it doesn't move over the week, look at your 2-week average. I've had clients down 4 pounds over a 2-week average, but nothing over a week, because most people who think they've stalled haven't, yet they're letting a few bad days dictate everything. Now, one of the main talking points of this video is switching plans or turning up the intensity. Imagine not knowing what to look for and thinking your metabolism is broken. Most men then do one of these 3 things. Eat a maintenance to try and recover their metabolic rate, do some elaborate blood panel, see their fasted insulin high and cut carbs. Or they assume they need far less calories to lose weight. All are what I call wrong here in general. They're the wrong move. If you have dieted for a long time and you have severe diet fatigue or your energy is just shot, maybe a week or 2 at maintenance will help you psychologically and help you recover your energy. But you need to look at what rate you're progressing. If you're losing an average of 1 to 2 pounds a week, hold. If you're not losing weight, but your waist is going down, hold. If your pictures are showing progress, keep going. Don't change anything. And if it hasn't been 14 days with no progress at all, keep going. Adjusting things when things are working is a guaranteed way to make sure you fall off and end up believing you were the problem, not your approach. So here's my challenge. Whatever you're doing right now, give it 2 more weeks before you touch a single thing. And this isn't because 2 weeks has some sort of magic to it, even though sometimes it does feel like it, but because that's roughly the minimum time I'll wait with a client before I think about changing anything. And it's usually enough time for any stall to sort itself out once you stop interfering. And your metabolism isn't broken, but you are about to switch when the old plan was catching up with itself. And if you want to see what happens over a longer stretch, I broke down the 3 stages of getting to 15% body fat. This will make sure you don't end up stuck at 20% like most men. Go and watch this next. I'll see you there.